Okay, let's talk fees. So if you're investing through a service like Rask Invest or with another fund manager, or even doing this yourself with ETFs and shares on a brokerage account, fees are inevitable. They're going to happen. So it's important that you understand them. It's important what's charged, how they're charged, and how they're calculated. Okay, so if I'm looking at my own fees in this particular account, I'm going to click on the button that says more, and I'm going to scroll on down here and select the fees tab. Now, I've only been invested for a short period of time. You can see there's my fees. Now, how they're charged in Rask Invest, this is 0.55% of my invested value. That's broken down into a daily calculation so we can get the most accurate representation of what that 0.55% of the value is each day. And then it's charged monthly in arrears from the cash component of my account. I don't need to top up the account to pay the fees. I don't need to set up a separate account to pay the fees or anything like that. It's all self-sufficient and self-sustaining. But if you're looking at for fees in other investment products or wanting to get the full rundown on the fees for our particular service as well, where you would go is the product disclosure statement. So a product disclosure statement, I'm on the Jupiter page here, by the way, now, guys. It's our high growth portfolio and our most popular portfolio. Now, jumping across into the product disclosure statement, it's a document that tells you all the legal ins and outs of an investment service. They all have one unless they are a wholesale or sophisticated investment product, then they would have an information memorandum. Okay, so I've scrolled down already to the fees section. Now, when I'm talking with people about fees, I tend to break them up into two different parts. Management fees that we ourselves charge at Rask Invest, and then the indirect costs associated with running the portfolio. So the management fee, so what you pay for our actual service, is 0.55% per annum, as mentioned. Now, the other side of things, we're transacting in a brokerage account on your behalf. So you're the full legal owner. So we charge the greater of $4.40 per transaction, or 0.04 of the transacted value each time we buy or sell ETFs in your portfolio. We are aware of this cost, and that's why we don't transact a lot. The most common times you'll see us transact is when you add money. So when you add funds, of course, we're going to go out there and buy new units of your ETFs for you to make sure you're invested. Then, of course, in the ETFs themselves, so once again, the brokerage costs will exist if you're doing this yourself in a brokerage account like Perla or SelfWealth or ComSec or NabTrade, whoever it may be. You're going to pay them something to transact on the ASX. Now, if you hold ETFs yourself as well, you're going to pay the underlying ETF fee. Now, you'll never see this fee. It comes out of the unit price of the ETF. That's what it's factored into. And so, for example, these are really small. For example, IVV, which is the S&P 500 ETF that we use, has a fee of 0.04%. So it's really, really minimal, but it's important to understand that these fees do exist. Now, if you are looking at a managed fund option that's not us, there may be performance fees. We don't charge performance fees. This really does get my goat, so I might go on a wee little tangent here. With a performance fee, if you're in a fund that does pay one, just on the PDR, do a control F, and you search for the word high watermark. That means that's an important thing to have in play if someone is charging you a performance fee. So a high watermark is where they can't charge performance just for getting you back to where you originally were if you've had a period of negative performance. And the other thing to have a look at is, as well, if you are paying a performance fee, is to make sure that the benchmark's appropriate. So what do I mean by that? If it's sometimes, and this really gets my goat, if you might see a managed fund actually charging you a performance fee on any performance, anything above zero, or it might be an Australian small cap fund charging you a performance fee based on beating the like term deposit rates or the RBA cash rate. That's not on. So jump into the PDS, look up the fees, and reach out and have a chat to me if you need.